Good morning and welcome back, everyone. Our guest this morning is Lincoln Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Steve Joel. LPS classes are now less than a week away from starting. Dr. Joel, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Andrew.
All right, let's start right to it. Last week you made the announcement that you're requiring masks for 6th grades on down. What went behind that decision?
Well, the decision really rested with the data that the Lincoln Lancaster Health Department has been working on, and they reported to us that numbers are going up pretty dramatically, actually, and they wrote a requirement for us to mask at least those students under 12, and of course that hits 6th grade, about half of the 6th graders and half not. So we just decided as a district that we would go kindergarten through pre-K through 6th grade. Masks, we'll be putting the dividers back in, but we're not going, it's not going to be like it was with the other COVID when we started school. Students can remove their masks outside, and if they're not around, and we're telling teachers that they can take their masks off if they're not around children, and so we're trying to build as much flexibility in there as we can. But of course, just like anything else that we're dealing with right now in public education, there's there's certain people that just really struggle with that mandate. But we feel that that's in the best interests of all of our students, and we feel that that gives us the best opportunity to open up our schools safely, and even more importantly, keep our kids in school. We want to limit the quarantine and the isolation that comes with contact tracing that we dealt with last year, because we don't have a Zoom or a virtual option for students that get removed for 10 or 14 days. And we just think this is going to give us our best chance to open up our schools. And I think at the end of the day, all of our parents want our schools to be open. Certainly there's some difference of opinion with regard to the wearing of masks.
What about high schoolers? Because I know LPS just announced late last night that they're going to have all classes are going to require masks. Have you talked about that, and is there a possibility that could happen?
We have, and that could still happen. We'll just have to wait and see as the data continues to get collected. But right now I understand that more than 50% of our high school students, eligible students, have been vaccinated. So we feel pretty good about that. But we're strongly recommending that anybody with concerns, staff, students, wear masks. Hopefully, you don't feel the negative stigma associated with that, because I'm going to be wearing masks when we're visiting all our schools next week, just to demonstrate that this virus is still very much active and somewhat aggressive.
What's the worry that there could be another outbreak?
Well, the worry is that it's not just going to be contained to a classroom or school, that it's going to be something that could overwhelm Lincoln Lancaster County. I feel like here in our city and county, we've done a much better job of getting vaccinated, and I do think that we're going to be in better shape with regard to dealing with this. So we just have to play it by ear. We've got 42. I tell everybody every day, I have to make decisions for 42,000 students and 8,000 staff, and that becomes pretty heady in this day where there's just so much discussion about decisions and policies. But let's get our schools open next week. Let's get our kids back. They're excited, staff's excited, and we're going to have the best year we can have. How
do you inform people about the vaccination? I know that it affects half of your people, because obviously people 12 and under cannot get the vaccination right now, but how do you inform, especially parents of high schoolers? Yeah,
well, I think we've done a pretty good job of messaging that. I take it, the opportunity every time I'm speaking publicly to say, the best way to keep our schools open, let's get vaccinated. But as soon as I said that, Andrew, I guarantee I'm going to get some emails with regard to that. So, we're just going to plow ahead and move forward, and we're going to deal with isolated cases the way we've done in the last couple of, this last year, with the hope that, in 30 days, 60 days, whatever, we want to be able to reevaluate, we want to get a mask off our kids, we want to try to get a return to normalcy as quickly as possible.
Really quickly here, how does athletics get affected by all this?
Well, athletics is going to be just like it was last spring. We're going to continue on. Our coaches and our athletes and our parents attending just prove that they can handle this and they can do a great job. We have very few outbreaks and certainly no surges. So we feel pretty good about our overall plan. We would just say to parents, be patient with us. We're going to make the best decisions we can with the information we have available to us today.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Steve.
My pleasure.